Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Call. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Creighton Gaynor of Natural Talent Music. Welcome back, Creighton. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Dennis. Good to be here.
You had kind of your debut event some weeks ago,
Yeah.
and now got a big concert coming up at the Englert this Friday, and then some other stuff too. So I don't know, where do you want to start?
Well, first, big thanks to having me the last time. We had a great show at the Olympic Theater in Cedar Rapids. We did another one after that at Gabe's, and now we're on our third one here at the Englert coming up on Friday with Jonathan Skill's Fourchestra.
So just let's go take a step back and talk about Natural Talent Music and what it is, because you're a musician yourself. Your group, the Jumbies, performs, but you've carved out this this organization, Natural Talent, to fill a particular niche that you think needs to be filled here in our part of the corridor. So tell me a little bit about your broad goals for the company.
Right on. Yeah, so Natural Talent Music kind of grew out of my experiences booking my own band, Jumbies. We've all have kind of taken some booking responsibilities with the band, but I kind of took a lot of those on several years ago. And through that experience, I realized two things. One, hey, this is kind of fun. It's great to be networked and connected with other people around in the industry. But also, one of the hardest things to do is to book your own band. A lot of people don't really want to do that because we're musicians, we're creatives, and we don't want to spend time doing that. So it kind of grew from there, booking my band, booking other bands, and now it's kind of evolved into a company that's going to produce its own events. Not just for one specific band, but what we're trying to do is get a theme together and then book events that fit that theme. Even if they're one-offs, that works too, but to have some sort of general focus with what we do.
And your band, Jumbies, mixes a lot of different genres together, but as a percussionist, but you're also a steel pan player, and you are bringing pretty big-time steel pan player in his band to the Englert, Jonathan Scales.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Jumbies, like you said, we do a lot of different things, and we're kind of at the forefront of that world music thing that we're trying to do. Natural Talent Music is doing with One World, a lot of multi-genre, multicultural music put together. So yeah, bringing in Jonathan Scales is just awesome. In Jumbies, I play percussion mostly, and in that band, we have a steel pan player named Stan Dahl. So we are in that steel drum family. We play a lot of very standard soca style music and very standard reggae, getting into a little bit of Afrobeat and some Latin stuff also. With Jonathan Scales and what he's doing, he takes steel pan, and instead of like the typical Caribbean feel you might get from a cruise ship or something like that.
Cruise ship, island vacation, yeah.
He's doing like really high-level jazz, funk fusion with some rock sensibilities. He's playing mostly with a trio right now, although his band is Fourchestra, but that's a long story, actually a short story. But he's playing with a trio right now with a bass player and a drum set player who I've seen personally in person. These folks play, and it's just amazing. I mean, what they do individually as musicians is awesome. They're at the top of their game, but they put it together, and it's just like a next level sort of jazz fusion experience.
And so you said the Fourchestra was kind of a short story. How big? You mentioned trio. I assume this is going to be a bigger ensemble.
Actually, so when I first saw them, they had 4 main members. Then there were some guests that came on also. Some of those guests that I saw at that performance are actually on their CD called Pillar. So like Mono Neon and Weedy Brahma, for example, are on that album. They were in that performance. But this performance, when they're coming here to Iowa City on Friday, just going to be the trio. Just going to be the steel pan, bass, and drums, and it'll be something else.
That's coming up at the Englert this Friday, and tickets still available. We'll give the Englert website in a couple of minutes if you don't know that already. Tell me what else is in the pipeline.
Yeah. So, with Natural Talent Music, our big focus right now is the One World series. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a series of music events that are going to focus on multi-genre, multicultural music. A lot of the music will be based in areas outside of the U.S. or based in a cultural group or an ethnic group that's maybe not the majority or what you typically hear on U.S. radio. So we probably won't program a lot of rock, for example. We probably won't program a lot of hip hop, but some, because that definitely has some cultural ties to the U.S. and then cultural ties elsewhere as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of different mixes of genres of different types of styles, especially that have some sort of cultural tie or cultural meaning in some aspect.
Speaking of hip hop, we should also mention you've got a couple of hip hop ensembles leading off the Jonathan Scales show.
Yeah, thanks for that. So happy to be bringing on MC Animosity and DJ XXL to open that show on Friday. Derek has been a friend and collaborator for a long time. So
this is really Animosity is Derek Thorne, right?
Derek Thorne
from Euphonics.
Right. Yep, Euphonics, and he's got another solo project out too. He just released his second CD for his solo project. He's a music student as well, learning a lot, and just a really positive force in the Iowa City music community for sure. And then we'll have a lot of different things coming up. In the future, there's going to be a little bit of a break, to be quite honest. Like this fall and then in the winter, kind of stepping back to do some more planning and scheduling. The next thing will probably be a Mardi Gras / Carnival celebration. We're probably going to do that in late February. Still in the works though, so I don't have a definite on that yet, but probably we'll do that. And then after that, we're going to pick up like with the One World Series in full swing starting in April. And then we'll be going pretty much one event a month, basically, all the way through summer, all the way through early fall, if not into December of next year.
And so far, you've done a variety of venues too. So I assume that'll be the big rooms, small rooms, that kind of the idea too.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going for a mix of all sorts of things, mix of bands, but a mix of venues. Like I mentioned earlier, we work with the Olympic, Gabe's. This one's going to be at the Englert. Also look out for shows at the James Theater in Iowa City, CSPS here in Cedar Rapids. There'll be a mix of lots of different things. I'm also talking to the folks over in Davenport they just changed their name. It's called Common Chord now, which used to be the River Music Experience, where the Redstone Room is. So we're trying to build up a lot of connections with venues around. And then that kind of ties into bringing in all the different acts. We've worked with the Swampland Jewels from Iowa City playing Zydeco. We've worked with the 1-2 Trees out of Davenport playing reggae. My band Jumbies, like I mentioned, playing soca and our mix of stuff. But we want to also kind of get it out, go further, working with bands like Black Market Brass from Minnesota. They're an Afrobeat band I've been talking to. There's a really fun band from Madison called Faho for Show. They play Faho music, which is a northern Brazilian style of music. It's basically for 3 people, but they expand it sometimes too. But it's just like really fun, happy, smiley dance music from Brazil. So bands like that will be coming through. Hopefully, I've been talking to Indica. It's a reggae band from Chicago. When I'm bringing them down, there's just a lot of different groups that I want to get in. And then aspirationally, for people to check out, if you haven't heard of bands like Hiatus Coyote, for example, Nubian Twist, Bamba Stereo, Coco Roco, Paco. There's so many different groups that are out there touring nationally. Some of these groups are international. They're from Australia and the UK. But I want to eventually get those groups coming through here as well.
Well, it sounds like definitely a different flavor to some of the things that we normally see in the corridor. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this Friday, it's the Jonathan Scales Fourchestra Next Level Steel Pan. Not your mom and dad's cruise ship steel pan.
Exactly.
At the Englert Theater. It's englert.org if you would like tickets for that. And if people want more information, they want to make sure they get on the list to find out about events as they come, or maybe just kind of connect with you and find out more about all of these different bands. How do they do that?
Definitely. The best way to do that is to go on Instagram and follow me at Natural Talent Music. It's Natural Talent Music LLC. You can get me at NatTalMuse. So that's at NatTalmus on Instagram. It's the same thing for email too, nattalmuse@gmail.com. So you can get to me that way. I'm going to be using that Instagram page as obviously a way to promote what I'm doing, but I'm also going to use that to get the word out and kind of give some focus on other groups that are happening, other world groups, just other groups that are doing good stuff. Whether that's Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, could be Des Moines, somebody coming to the Quad Cities, or like I mentioned earlier, just bands that, I just want people to know about because I've learned about them and they're awesome, and hopefully we'll bring them in sometime. But there's so much stuff out there. So Natural Talent Music on Instagram. Also, if you wouldn't mind, I want to put a call out to anybody out there who is making music, especially any sort of world culturally tied music that's in the area that I didn't mention that I should know about, because there are bands out there that are making music that I just don't know, but I would love to be able to kind of fold into this series and promote as well. I know there's a band out of Des Moines called Son Peruchos that I want to get in touch with as well. I saw them on doing a thing on TV. So yeah, any bands like that are out there that people know about, or if you're in a band and want to reach out, get to me through that Natural Talent Music Instagram page. In the same vein, if you're not a musician, but there are groups that you want to see come to the area that you think we might be able to get, just drop me that. Just tag them on my Instagram or on Facebook as well. Same thing, Natural Talent Music. And we'll see what we can do about getting them in.
All right. Sounds like a great place to visit to get your musical horizons broadened a little bit.
Absolutely.
Creighton, always a pleasure. Good luck with the show this week, and keep us posted on what's going on.
Appreciate it, Dennis. We'll
All right.
see you again sometime soon.
Thanks, Creighton.
All right.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.